Welcome to Simon no茶の間, Simon's living room. In this very dark environment. Bilko has just gone to get the coffee, so if you're in the kitchen, Bilko, come back soon. As you can see, I've got a new font for my channel name. Hey, Vince Vimon, nice to see you. Hang on, I'm just going to call up my stream so I can see what I'm doing. Because with the latency, it's like watching myself in the past. But sorry. Anyway, where were we? Yes, wabi sabi, imperfect. I'm aesthetic. It's very aesthetic, this setup. I've lost a viewer. Oh dear. That's probably me. I don't know. And it's all very imperfect, but pleasing, one hopes. Tell me if I've lost another viewer. Oh dear. There's people doing things on a Saturday evening. Better things to do than watch me, perhaps. But that appeared to be the case last week. Last week, I actually went out and talked to people, which is unusual for me. Talking to strangers in this, well, not so much in the street. It was last week a culture market in the nearby city, but actually approaching people and talking to them live on camera. Unfortunately, I couldn't see anybody. There were about 6 people watching, I think, and I couldn't see your comments or anything. I think Mark Dibble was one of them, and he actually just messaged me on Facebook to say that he was watching and things were going all right. But so I decided this week, I did consider, because it's such a nice day out here, you can't tell from this dark room, that maybe to go out again, but I prefer to sort of sit in and talk to people, even if it's only kind of, with a delay. But yes, wabi sabi, and what's all this? You're wondering what's all this with the? I'll start this going. Hang on. Play. There we go. Will that change now? Excuse me while I munch on something. You were sleeping, but you watched it at the same time in your mind. Wabi sabi. Here we go. It's a Japanese. I can't remember the name, but it's a tea cup, and this is Ishikawa Takuboku, who is considered one of the earliest exponents of 20th century Japanese modern tanka poetry. And if you watch the advert, you will have heard me quote one of his tanka poems. I can't remember it now. Hang on. If I look at my, I had it, yeah, here we go. I shall quote it from my phone. I close my eyes, yet nothing whatever floats up in my mind. Out of sheer loneliness, I reopen them. Oh no, that wasn't it. It was to do with it. That was a different one. Oh, there you are. That's an exclusive. No, it was to do with the crumbling earth from the cliff inside my head. But yes, I'm feeling a bit melancholic, and so I was searching. Japanese poetry, it tends to be that way, although tanka poetry. Hey, Robert, tanka poetry is renowned for being rather bright and upbeat, and to do with happy feelings. About the spring and about love and so on. But this chap, Ishikawa Takuboku, was a romantic and socially engaged in early 20th century Japan. He didn't live very long. He only lived till he was 26, but he became a renowned poet from about the age of 16. But his poems were, well, an old British word, maudlin. to do with, even though he was 16, 17. Well, actually, when he was 16, 17, he produced tanka poetry that reflected a more exuberant and enthusiastic outlook on life. But by the time he was in his mid-20s and he experienced the social upheavals and repression in Meiji period Japan, that he became rather more somber in his outlook. I don't know, there was no argument regarding your suggestion. Yes. But anyway, so that's I mean, but the nature of life is such that we can't all be perfect, obviously, and it is our imperfections that define our character. And like the Japanese teacup, they're appreciated for their if there's a break in it, if it's broken somewhere, that actually has more of an appeal to the Japanese sensibility than one that is absolutely perfect. That being said, they often make other items to the absolute best of their ability. So it's kind of contradictory. Yes, the light cannot be without darkness. And the trouble is, some people find themselves in a period of utter darkness and are looking for the light, and nothing even people close to them can help them. And sometimes that attempts at help can have the opposite effect. Where was I? Munching food. Well, I'm terribly sorry. I have not really prepared much in the way, other than I could switch to where this chap came from. He was born in Iwate Prefecture in Japan, and moved to Morioka. And this is a promotional video of Morioka that I found. It looks rather nice. Hey, how's it to us? Oh, I thought you were having a meat. Makes you hungry. Well, I'm hungry. That's why I'm eating. We could use some wabi-sabi in the top 40. Does it still have a top 40? Pick of the pops. We're old. Yes, I mean, and it's certainly in certain kinds of R&B, that they dub in the hiss and crackle of scratched vinyl, which is, hey Tomo. How is that casting couch? It's soggy. Apparently, it's soggy in London. It's a soggy casting couch. How did the meeting go? Has it? Is it all done and dusted, or is it still to come? Tomo, I believe that there could be a typhoon on its way to you. It's going to hit. It's in Okinawa, and it's going to probably hit Yamaguchi tomorrow and Monday. I need a dose of insanity. Not really. What am I? I'm eating Notenmix Nature, mélange de noix. It's like a mixture of mixed nuts. Here we are. My audience and I, mixed nuts. I'm on a health kick. So some mental health would be good too. It might miss your city. That's good. I was talking to my friend Englandese, or chatting, and it hasn't hit Yamaguchi yet. Are you taking a day off? And sunny in Brighton. Well, there we go. So that it is. I mean, Brighton. It's like I said, it's a couple of hours away from me. The good sound of mixed nuts. That's us having a conversation. I should have called this live stream "Mixed Nuts." That would have been more appropriate. All of us with our imperfections, we're beautiful and imperfect. I'll switch back to Takanobu. I think that's when he was like a teenager. A rather miserable life. That's probably why he wrote sort of maudlin poetry. But I'm not inspired to write poetry. I have written poetry before. I was inspired to do that by my actress friend. Yes, that's more or less it, Vidzavimom. I mean, if more people would be happy with that. But obviously there are certain things you want. If you've not had things in your past, or if you've had things happen to you in your past, and you're looking then to achieve satisfaction or to reach goals that overcome those things that happened in your past, then you tend to not want to keep the imperfections. Hey, there we are. Englandese. This man has just consumed Yorkshire pudding. I hope that's not giving away too much information. And I was helping Tomoko Des earlier. Rainer, Robert, you'll know who it is, and possibly some of the others, but Rainer messaged me after I'd sent her the old spam link with the link to the show. And she and Tomoko Des are going to do something tomorrow. But they were struggling. So Tomoko Des messaged me and I helped her about a bit. Seven Yorkshire puddings. I'm just thinking that your family is sitting around looking rather puzzled. Just, what's for dinner? A Yorkshire pudding. Finding your ikigai, yes. I've read lots of contradictory things, especially with Zen, about searching and not searching. Do you search? Do you not search? Do you pursue this? Do you pursue that? They thought he was bread. Well, it is sort of. It's Yorkshire bread with gravy. Did you have roast beef? Yes, that's the thing. Just like going off topic, really. Roast dinners. Do people still have those in England? Still looking at you, Asaturs. I mean, I know you're not thoroughbred English, but I mean, you are in England. But roast dinners, we used to have those as a child, and it was a thing. Sunday, always had a roast dinner on a Sunday. Sat round the table. One parent would carve the meat. We'd have all the vegetables and trimmings. That all kind of seemed to have disappeared. The things that we are forced to pursue seem to take away from the things that we really need to pursue. Yes. Yes, that's true. You're forced to pursue a means to live. Well, yes, I'm lost now. I'm just because I've just been eating nuts, and I've been thinking of roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, and then the afters, the dessert. Did you have a dessert, Englandese? Well, I was helping. I thought I was helping one particular person, but it seems I was having, in the end, the opposite effect. As I'm now thinking of apple pie and custard. Sorry, you do. As when you're on a kind of a diet, you torment yourself with the thoughts of of nice food. I'll just go back to this one and stop the hang on. Just pause that. There we are. So, mixed nuts, if I may call you mixed nuts, my audience. What is your take on? I mean, Vince, if your mom, you have a particular take on that, but Tomo and Englandese, and Bilko, and anybody else who might be lurking. How do you get through your days? I mean, I got through. I've been getting through the past few days by trying to rationalize what I experienced and get some perspective on it. Scorn. Pardon? Scorn. Could you elaborate, Tomo? Ah, you went to English school today. That's a word you learned at English school, perhaps today. I'm not quite sure what the Japanese equivalent would be. Burning shame. This is it. This is it's the mixed nuts therapy live stream. Just keep rolling till you get tired. Yeah, well, you've got to stop rolling. There's visions of Bilko rolling down the street. A rough conversation. You're having a rough conversation at an English class. I'm trying to think. I had very, very, very rough conversations in my Japanese class. He kept missing my particles, which is not good. Ah, what you ate? Yeah, my fan base. Simon no茶の間 mixed nuts. Oh dear. Yes, well, there's no slapstick on this show, I'm afraid. It's just trains. Yes, Frederick messaged me to say that he could not again watch the show because he was watching. No, he's been watching trains, and now he's watching cows coming down from the hill. I'm cows coming down from a Swiss mountain are more interesting than my show. Every day is a struggle. Yeah. For the friend that I'm thinking of, every day for her is a big struggle. So, and I thought I was helping, but it didn't seem to be that way. Ah, hang on. You thought scorn. Hang on. Tomo, you answered scorn. Scorn. Do you mean corn? The food? Corn. Mm. Yes, because we're talking at cross purposes here, Tomo. I lost a viewer. They they thought it was too maudlin. I shall go back and check on my analytics who was watching on a phone and who was watching on their TV. Yes, this isn't quite the show to watch on the train. That'll be it, Tomo. Scone. A scone. You've been having a scone, not scorn. You need to drop the. You need to get rid of the R, the letter R. So the English, a scone or a scone. Okay, Englandese, what is it? Scone or scone? I'm going to have to stop eating these. I'll turn into a squirrel. Usually towards the end of the show, I mention what's going to happen next week, but next week I do actually have a guest who has been kindly found for me by my composer friend Hiro from Tokyo, and he's part of the Yokohama theatre group. It's one of his things that he does is he's working with them. And when he was there, he met an English voice actor who was doing an internship there. And he just asked him if he'd be interested in being on the show, and he is. And he's actually just returned back to the UK. So I'm at the moment digging up information about him to prepare questions. So next week, hopefully, I'll be having yet another voice actor on the show. Cream tea with scones. That's right. Again, I'm now feeling hungry. I've not had scones for a long, long time. I've had salads for about a month and cut out carbohydrates and sugar and alcohol. Theoretically, I should be full of energy and healthy. I was just watching a YouTube video this morning also about the nature of reality. And that scientist has actually proved that everything, objective reality, does not exist. Oh, I'm losing more viewers, dropping like flies. So, I mean, my way of dealing sometimes with difficulties in my life, and my advice sometimes to people is does not always fit with looking for a way out of the darkness. I'm afraid I'm reluctant to hand out money over the internet, although I may have to invest in. There's a hidden microphone here. In if I was to pursue, I'm losing more viewers. I'm sorry. People have got better things to do, obviously. In a new microphone setup, but it's because I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I might be pursuing the old voice acting thing myself. But I've been looking into it, and it involves quite a lot of research, not to mention classes. No, I'm not. No, I'm thinking more of a studio condenser microphone, as opposed to a USB microphone with an interface and all that business. Yes, I've been looking at a Rode NT1 studio setup, but it's a bit pricey. So it's a question of, if I make that investment, I have to make a big commitment. I should be asking the voice actor next week for some tips on that. So where were we? But if you've ever read, has anybody in the audience ever read tanka poetry? As I said, my actress friend, it inspired me to write to her, or write poems to her, and I actually got the assistance of Raina and Mikey Chen and Tomoko Des, who all helped me because I didn't know any Japanese at the time. And I composed these poems and then ran them through their critical eye, and they helped me change words or phrases. It was an interesting experience. As I say, it was for the actress, and it was more upbeat when you're sending poems to someone. But I like tanka poetry. It's 31 syllables in one line, and it's a bit like haiku. I mean, obviously you can read it in Japanese, and you can then read sort of the translation, and then there is a little bit of variation. When I was looking at the tankas of Ishikawa, there were quite often slight variations in the translations, and total gibberish when I tried to put that into Google Translate. But I would recommend checking out some tanka poetry. Yes, and unfortunately, I mean, I should have had a selection prepared. I spent last night trying to get the advert made, but also spent a good part of last night and this morning looking for tanka poetry to read to you, but didn't found it. Can I repeat what I said about objective reality? Yes, there was a. Hang on, I'll see if I'll look at my YouTube history here, and I'll pop the link into the. If I can, give you the link to. No, I can't do that. If I change my, I was looking on one of my other channels this morning, and it was scientist has developed a theory that that more or less disprove. He has colleagues, scientist colleagues, who are physicalists, who believe that quantifiable solid objects outside of the human mind, as it were, this table, this desk, everything is actually real and measurable, and you can detect it, blah blah blah, everything right down to. Whereas he proved that actually no, people were in agreement that secondary characteristics of things such as color and sound and smell and texture and so on were possibly in the mind and just sensory perceptions and not connected to what actually is there. But he was able to prove that everything else, the solidity, the actual form, the actual appearance, is also just illusory. Dear me, that was a bit heavy. Which, I mean, such philosophical and scientific and so on things that are almost similar to Buddhism and Zen and so on, and those aspects do not always provide you with the means to get out of the darkness that you're in. You turn 43 tomorrow. Oh, well, everybody, fellow mixed nuts, please wish happy birthday to Vids of your mom. 43, I remember that. I think I was still married. Your professors are going to tell you they told you so. So your professors are of the opinion that actually all things that we believe to be reality are not. Happy birthday, Robert. Yes, Bilko. I think it was nearly 10 years ago for us. Yes, you forgot your M. I think four mixed nuts have gone off to have scones and Yorkshire puddings. They'll come back next week, hopefully. Having said all that, I'm living in the hope that the person in question that caused all this, as it were, will get back to me. Before too long, hopefully. Foucault says, no objectivity, no truth, only your narrative versus my narrative. Yes. Also in this video, because how was he describing it? That because everybody's perceives the same thing because we're all more or less connected, built the same. You know, when you see something, when everybody agrees that they see a tree, and they're all looking at the same, what they think they're looking at the same tree. There was no explanation, though, as to what it is that is causing us to see these things. Just the fact that they're perhaps really not there. Oh, somebody came back. Toilet break. Mixed nuts are allowed to wander in and out of of the live stream as and when they did. You notice? Sorry, did you notice, Robert, that Tokyo Drew had his rant, had his show this morning, and he called it the three old dudes. Just as a side note. And two more have come back from, and one has gone back again. What's going on? I think it's possibly people popping in going, what the hell is going on, and popping out again. I'm sorry. Yes, I really should have found some more tanka poetry for you. Six watching. Yes, it fluctuates. It's reality. Reality fluctuates. Where's Dean? He's still in Australia, and occasionally I see some posts on Instagram from his Nightbreed Instagram account, and he keeps saying that he's going to be like producing some music, but I never see it. I'll see if I can find some tanka poetry, and I'll give you a read in my best reading voice. Perhaps two examples. One of tanka poem. Examples of tanka poetry. Oh, first one they come up with is Takanobu Ishikawa, Takaboku. Oh well, yeah, I could read one of his poems again. Oh, who is this? Ah, yes, this is Machi Tawara. She's contemporary, born in 1962. This is a sample of one of her poems translated. Cherry trees begin to bloom, and bloom is over. In the park where nothing, it seems, ever happened. So there you are. That's slightly maudlin. Oh, here's another maudlin one. Mokichi Saito from 1882, born in 1882, so it's slightly older. Coming to a wall is clinging to it a lacewing mayfly. The sheer transparency of the wings, their mournfulness. There you are. Hello, Jackie. It's a long time ago. And Tada Chimako from Fukuoka. Critically acclaimed. This is one of her poems. The hot water in the abandoned kettle slowly cools, still carrying the resentment of cold water. So, I mean, presumably in the Japanese, they have more gravitas, but winter is near. Yes, well, autumn is near. Winter can wait. I'd rather have autumn. One of these days, I'm going to sort of nip down to the old Ardennes and get some more shots of the autumn leaves. My parents are coming over in a month or so, so maybe, hopefully, I will be able to get down on a road trip to the Ardennes. Just getting my sons to come along. Jackie, you now know that you are now part of Mixed Nuts, which has been is now the unofficial name of my fan base. Yes, and you missed the scones and you missed the Yorkshire pudding. Not that we had any, but some of our viewers or our fellow Mixed Nuts had them. Okay, let's try and find another tanka poem. Yes, I've been eating Mixed Nuts, Jackie, and I think somebody decided that was a good name for for you guys. Masterpiecesofjapaneseculture.com. That sounds promising. Examples. That's what I want. Click on examples. Excuse me while I scroll. I was doing this the other week. Yeah. These date to the 7th century, so it's been going a while. This is Ono. This is a very famous Japanese poetess, Ono no Komachi, from the 9th century. It's even got it in Japanese, so strap yourselves in. Here we go. Hana no iro wa utsuri ni keri na, itazuru ni, wagami yo ni furu, nagame sashima ni. Color of the cherry blossoms has already faded away. While spending in vain, my life passes as I had watched the long rains fall. So they were, even maudlin back then. Yes, vids of him on. I should do that too. That appeared to be the best one of the bunch. Sorry, I'm quite enjoying reading these tanka poems. I should have started this earlier. Yeah, Japanese tanka poems with translation. Sacred texts. I think I've seen this one, yes. No. Well, my work involves me occasionally talking to builders, truck drivers, and customers as I deliver stuff and unload trucks. For the most part, I'm on my own in the yard with just me. So yes, perhaps as my absent friend said, I should change. Kanoko Okamoto led a privileged life, but battled depression and guilt. Best known in Japan for her fiction. So this is it's one of those streams, I'm afraid. Here we go. Cherry blossoms, blooming with all the strength they possess, oblige me to view them with all the strength I possess. There we are. It'll end soon, hopefully. Now, does anybody else read poetry as a solace? I mean, I don't often read poetry. This is I think I'm certainly not on my live streams. Sorry, I'm trying to find an upbeat tanker. It's difficult. Modern ones don't seem to be so upbeat as the medieval ones. So next week it should be hopefully a little more upbeat. I've got to think of questions for this chap and introduce him to the mixed nuts. Yes, you've got to, when you're living for two, fits of your mum. Yes. Hang on. Let's pop back to Takanobu. and pause it on wabi sabi. There we are. Existential dread. I'm terribly sorry, MS. I mean, it's variety. Last week's stream was upbeat and in the cultural market, and not very many people watched it. It could be that this stream is watched even less. Yes, it was outdoors in Ghent, and unfortunately, thanks to YouTube, I can't see you commenting or watching when I'm doing those outdoor live streams, which is why I was reluctant to do one today. But it worked all right up to a certain point. And then because of 4G issues, the data packets all got crunched together at a certain point, and just before the end. And when you watch the replay, I suddenly speed up like a man possessed, and the stream comes to an end. It's okay. It's an okay one. You see some nice shots of Ghent and historic buildings and so on. So yes, this has been a thoughtful live stream, the imperfect but aesthetically pleasing live stream. One hopes. What do you all think of my new typeface as he moves it about? Trying to sort of breathe life back into my channel. I think possibly also I could increase the brightness slightly. There we are. Thanks, Robert. Yes, it was it's slightly simpler than the previous one. Well, I have a Fiverr account, but apparently my absent friend suggested that that I'd, for my profile picture, I'd best get the best photograph I could of myself. And looking on when I was researching about voiceover stuff, I thought, well, I've got this microphone, I could put stuff up. But then it said if you wanted to be a voiceover artist that actually got commissions, you needed to do more than just put in a few homemade voiceovers. So that's something I may pursue. Well, folks, mixed nuts, I'm getting hungry. And imperfect as this show has been, and rather random and philosophical and maudlin, it is approaching the end. So, if you don't mind, our ninth viewer has joined. I'm sorry if you've joined late and missed the excitement and me reading poetry. But hopefully I will see you guys next week. I may go back to my old green screen next week and see how that goes. And I will have a guest as well, so it'll be split screen. And it'll be a proper interview. and we shall both be using our voices to the best of our abilities. So I'd like to thank you for all joining. I know I'm stopping 5 minutes before the actual end of the show, but when you've exhausted what you haven't prepared, it's not good for your CV. Finishes before the end. The hour goes by too quickly. I'm always amazed that I managed to blather on for an hour without getting any verbal feedback. But I'm entirely grateful for all of you sitting and watching there, and those of you who watch after the event, including all those that I spammed this morning while I was having my coffee in the coffee shop. I wonder if you ever do actually watch it. I look at my analytics, and the average watch time is quite short, and you have to plow through me waffling on for an hour. Okay. With that, I would like to say thank you for joining, and I shall see you all, hopefully, next week. And I'm going to do something like this, which is I turn down the game and I disappear into the darkness. Bye for now.